And this is my channel, We Love Comics. And I have, well, this one's already technically unboxed, but I wanted to show you the box that it came in, or the actual letter envelope they put it in. But the post office was nice enough during a rainstorm, even though I have a carport, which is right next to my front door. They decided to leave it out in the rain while I was home, didn't knock on the door or anything. And the luckily, the comic, well, I'll show you. But I also want to make a quick announcement that I'm going to be doing an auction soon, probably in another 2 weeks or so. I already have the comics all laid out, so you guys know me. I always do a sneak peek about a week before any auction, so that should be within the next 2 weeks. But if there's any comics you're looking for, let me know, and if I have any of them available to put in the auction, I will more than likely be able to do that. So you can put it in the comment section once this video uploads if there's any books that you're looking for. I tend to try and sell only graded comics. That's what makes it easier. But I mean, if I only have a raw version and you're okay with that, we can always discuss that in the auction, or you could make with the sneak peek. One of the advantages of watching the sneak peek videos is you can actually make an offer on a comic, and if I accept that offer, it never sees the light of day of an auction. So that's coming in the next 2 weeks or so. Just wanted to give that a little mention. So while I'm waiting for people to come in, give a shout out to my Patreon members. If you'd like to support my channel, you can go to patreon.com/we love comics. Anything is always appreciated because the majority of the contributions go to help all the stray animals that I take care of, which is always fun around the rainy season and around the 4th of July with all the fireworks, paying hospital bills and all those other things if needed. And you'll get your name shouted out in every video. So shout out to all these Patreon members. Thank you so much for joining. If we get to 20 paid members, you can pause this. You could see all the different giveaways that I'm giving away. For every $2 you contribute, you'll get one entry once we get to 20 paid members. I see Florence is here. Welcome, Florence. Good to see you. Long time no see in the live chat. Says happy late 4th of July. Hopefully everybody had a happy and safe 4th of July. Mine was nice and quiet for the most part, so for me, perfectly fine with that. It rained here, so there was no chance of us going out to see fireworks. And it was pretty bad, the rain, but no major flooding or anything like that where I live, so knock on wood, all things considered, especially what's going on around the world. So my condolences out to anybody that's suffering or having to deal with situations with rain. Um, Luckily we dodged another bullet. So hopefully you're one of those people as well. And if you live in any areas where there were some floods, if you made it through, please put some good positive stories in the comment section. And let's keep it positive. So if you want to critique the AI art, by all means, please do. Tried to get Ghost Rider and his flames being extinguished in the rain, but after about 20 different attempts, I figured the AI isn't smart enough to get down exactly what you're looking for yet. So if you want to critique it, good, bad, or indifferent, I'll leave that up to you. Now, this is what they mailed it in. Now, you'll see this. I did not rip that. That is all warped from the rain. So they put this in a tiny envelope, and you could see all the warping. Now, this is dried off because I got it yesterday, and it was late at night, so I wasn't going to do a video because I was home when this happened. This whole area and this whole area, when I say soaked through, even the cardboard, and again, because it dried, you can't see it, all sides of the cardboard. So this was the protection, which I guess is better than nothing. It was all soaking wet. So as soon as my wife handed it to me, I had to open it right away. I didn't even want to take the time to set up a video to do it because the comic is more important, keeping it from being damaged. But luckily, the person did put it in a bag and board, and they did put it in a Mylar, so the water did not get to it. I don't know how long it was out in the rain, but obviously not long enough to completely drench the comic. So luckily, my wife, I guess, happened to look outside or something and saw it, because, like I said, they didn't knock on the door, they didn't ring the doorbell, and literally about a half a foot from my front door isn't a part of the overhang of the carport. They put it right before that, where they could have literally taken 2 steps, literally, and put it at least under the carport and knocked on the door or something. But, it is what it is. That's the Postal Service. If you guys or girls have ever had any horror shows, especially recently with the post office, put it either in the live chat or the comment section because I have seen the Postal Service in the past month or so being almost to the point of extremely comical at best and horrible at their job at worst. I mean, it's if you have any experiences with the United States Postal Service these days or any service, let me know. But it's ridiculous. So I'm at least going to show the comic. This is actually in high grade. I did take it out and I placed it. It has, like I said, it's in a Mylar bag and board, but I also put another bag and board. I put that in another bag and board, a Silver Age bag and board, to kind of double protect it. This is going to be sent to get graded. Now, I've never owned this comic before, so I'm about to show a comic you've never seen before. Has 9.8 potential. If I get a pressing, which of course, if I get it graded, I'm going to press it. And I'm also going to do two other unboxings since this isn't technically an unboxing, so stick around after. I'll show two more. But this is the book I got. This, of course, is DC Comics Presents. This is issue number 47, I believe. Yes, 47. First appearance of He-Man in comics. This is gorgeous. White pages. Now, the only thing is on the back corner on this side, which obviously you can't see because of back and board, there is a little bit of a circular indent. Does not break color. So if left raw, it would probably be a 9.2 or a 9.4. Pressing, obviously nothing is guaranteed, even if the pressing was perfect of it getting a 9.8. But with the pressing, this will have 9.8 potential. 9/8 of this book sell for over $1,000. Now, this was an auction, so I'm actually surprised I got it for as low as I did, especially when you're talking high grade, because there is a He-Man movie coming out. Now, let's hope it's good. I mean, I don't have faith in Hollywood these days, whether you do or not. I mean, like I say, that's always up to you. You know, art is speculative and each person is entitled to their own opinions. But I was never really a He-Man fan. I mean, I watched it, but it was okay. It was like one of those cartoons I would watch when there was nothing else on and I was bored as a kid. I would watch this. But other than that, I really didn't get into it too much. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't like I hated it or anything, but there were just other things I would rather watch. But that's not to say this isn't a great character and definitely an iconic character. And having the first appearance in comic book form with potential 9.8, again, after a pressing potential 9.8. But I would even say if I got this graded, 9.4 to 9.8, even with a pressing, because a pressing doesn't guarantee it's going to get it completely out. But I did make sure I put on the back when I get this sent, because I'm going to most likely send this next month unless I get other books that will outshine this one. But I put on the back the following note. Please focus pressing on the back right-hand corner. I always tell people, no matter who you get your comics sent to get graded, if you grade them, the more information you put on the back of the bag, like especially if maybe staples are loose or staples are barely hanging on or anything like that, don't assume that a grader is going to know about these situations because they're not. But if they see it here, I mean, that doesn't guarantee they're going to be more careful, but you never know. The more you kind of dictate information, the more likely you are to get the outcome that you're desiring. So don't be afraid to put information on there. Just don't make it into a 50-page story that no one's going to read. So keep it short and simple. So, as usual, I want to see what you would have paid for this book. Again, first appearance of He-Man in comics. It is DC Comics Presents number 47 with a pressing between a 9.4 and a 9.8, so it does have 9.8 potential. So, having said that, what would be the highest if you were bidding on eBay? Because this wasn't a buy it now, this was an auction. What would be the highest you would have bid and been happy if you won? Now, keep in mind that will not include shipping and handling and taxes. So if you're watching this later on, you can always put it in the comment section. But if you're live right now, let me know, especially because, like I said, there's a movie coming. So if it's good and they end up making more because of it, or they create a, cinematic universe based on this book would continue to go up. So I'll give it another 30 seconds if anybody wants to place what price they would have paid if they saw this auction about to end and they had the chance to potentially bid and win this comic. What would be the highest you would have put in the bid that if you won it, you'd be happy? So I'll give people 30 seconds. And then, like I said, I'm going to be doing an auction in another 2 weeks or so. I'll basically do a week beforehand, so about 2 weeks from now, because I don't want to do it right after 4th of July, because everybody is, going on vacations and spending money on fireworks and parties and stuff. So I'm going to wait at least about another 2 weeks to do the sneak preview. Sneak preview is always a chance for my ultra power viewers and power viewers or anybody that watches my channel to be able to place a offer on any of the books before it ever goes to auction. So if you give me an offer on a comic and I think it's worth selling at that price, you'll never have to worry about going to auction and maybe missing the auction because you had to work or had to go out, or being outbid by somebody else or getting into a bidding war. So that'll be coming in about 2 weeks. And like I said, after this, I'll do two more quick unboxings. So no one put any prices or anything, but that's okay. With shipping and handling and with eBay taxes. So after everything's all said and done, I paid a total of only $148.86 for this book. So under $150 for a 9/8 potential of this book with a movie coming out. Like I said, a 9/8 of this book is over $1,000. So even a 9.6 sells for about 400. It was between 406 and I think 480 was the range for 9.6s. So even if this was a 9.6, I would more than double my money. So it always shows that it pays to look on eBay and take the chances. Now, obviously, like I said, I've never owned this book before and never really desired it. So I'm sure there were many opportunities a while ago where I could have gotten much better deals. But I'm happy with this considering where the market is now and the price I got it. And that's why I tell people, if you want to listen to comic collectors that tell you, buy a book and you have to hold on to it for 10 years or so. I mean, I can understand that advice, but it's not the best advice if you want to make money doing comic sales. Because if you have to hold on to any investment for 10 years, that means whatever money you put into that investment is doing nothing for you for a decade. So how is that productive? I always say, make a deal happen or wait for a deal to where you could literally sell whatever you're collecting literally that day if you wanted to, that you got it, and double your money or even more than that. Because I've shown many comics that I've gotten, even in buy it nows, that I sold it for 10 times the amount of what I bought it for a month after I bought it. So if you want to hold your money for 10 years and do nothing with it as that money devalues, I mean, you can do that, but that's not the best advice because most people don't talk about currency and how it devalues over time. I mean, I'll give you an example. $100 now will only buy you a certain amount of groceries at the store. That same $100 10 years ago would have probably bought you double the amount of groceries. So even though it's the same amount of money, the value of that currency loses purchasing power over time. So if you are investing in something where you're putting, let's say you put $1,000 in a book and you have to hold on to it for 10 years, that $1,000 in 10 years is probably going to be worth $250 to $300 if you're lucky. So you would actually have to sell it for about 3 or 4 times what you paid for it in order to make a little profit. And to wait a decade to do it makes no sense for me. So if I see a book, even if it's a Hulk 181, even if it's a Daredevil #1, even if it's a Batman #1, if I cannot make a profit right away, even if it's a book I've never had, and even if it's a book I've always wanted, I will pass up on it and wait for an opportunity. Because if an opportunity doesn't come, then that money can be used elsewhere. Instead of holding it for a decade where that money is doing nothing but losing its value. Again, you can listen to anybody's advice. And I'm not saying if somebody gives that advice, they're a horrible person and they should be condemned for life. No. But most people don't think from a business perspective. If you are investing in comics as a speculation or an investment tool, it is unwise to purchase any investment where you have to hold on to it for a decade just in hopes you can make some profit and not consider the factor of devaluing of the currency over that 10-year period where the purchasing power declines and declines and declines. So again, if you bought a book for $1,000 and held on to it for 10 years, and let's say it didn't go anywhere, and the value of that book, you can only sell it for 1,000. And you say to yourself 10 years later, oh, well, I didn't lose money because I sold it for the same amount I bought it for. Because a lot of people, when they can't make a lot of money, they panic sell. And if you see a price go down, let's say it goes down from 1,000 to 500 for 5 of those 10 years. And then in the last 5 years, it goes back up to 1,000. So you're like, all right, I'm breaking even, so I'll cut my losses. Many people panic sell that way. But if you sold it for the same price that you bought it for 10 years ago, you lost money. Because, like I said, that $1,000 cannot buy you the same thing today as it could have 10 years ago. Most people do not think that way. I'm trying to help you avoid those situations. Now, again, you can listen to anybody you want, and not many people listen to me, and that's fine. There's a reason why I've been quote unquote unemployed since October of 23. I have no government programs. I'm not on food stamps. I'm not on government welfare. I don't get paychecks from the government or anybody. I make my income selling auctions probably once or twice, actually 2 or 3 times a year. And I'm able to pay all of my bills, take care of the cats, and supply them with enough food for a year if I need to, just by selling comics because I don't have books that I need to sit on for a decade or even 5 years. And I'm trying to instill that with those that are doing it for that reason. So the comic DC Comics Presents 47 paid $148.86 with a pressing and dry cleaning. It has 9.8 potential, but we'll see. So I got two more um, comics I'll unbox. These I didn't get yesterday, but I figured because technically I didn't unbox that, I don't want to leave the 3 or 4 people watching disappointed. And as usual, if you want to hit the thumbs up or thumbs down, by all means, please do. If you want to hit subscribe or unsubscribe, by all means, please do. And if you hit unsubscribe, that doesn't mean you can't watch, and you're always welcome to come back at any time. Because to me, I appreciate any viewership, even if it's to be negative, because hey, at least you're not going out and abusing people and you're just leaving a negative comment. Perfectly fine with me. All right, this person wrapped this pretty darn well. They put some bubble wrap in there. I do see they have the blue painter's tape inside, but they didn't do it out on the outer part, which, if you're trying to do this, you could technically bend the comic trying to get it out. So, I mean, my thing is, if you're going to do the right thing with the blue painter's tape, you might as well do it the whole way through. But as they say, something is always better than nothing. They did a nice little thank you. So let's remove the backing boards. I've actually been trying to get, I'm never going to collect the series because these books are kind of, I wouldn't say super expensive, but not warranted enough to spend the money to get most of them. So I think now I have at least the first 5 issues. But I really like this cover and I like this series. So this is Vampirella issue number 5. So I don't know if that's Frank Franzetta because it's been a while. I've had this box for a couple of months now. But I have issues 1 through now 5. Matter of fact, right over here, here is my first print of issue number 1. Got that a couple years ago. So I now have issue number 2, 3, 4, and now 5. And again, like I said, these are not majorly cheap, but I still got a pretty good deal on this. This is probably mid-range. They put it as fine, very fine. So you never know, but overall looks pretty good. So for issue number 5, no major significance. Just, I'm sure it's not going to be a majorly high print run because it wasn't extremely popular back in the days. It just got a cult following years later. So these are harder to get, especially in higher grade. I paid only $78.06 for this book. So, and that's after, of course, shipping and handling and taxes. So to have the first 5, because I know issues 2 and 3 are pretty low print runs. So if you can grab those books, highly recommend it, especially if you want to try and sell, like if you have the first 10 issues or anything. So if anybody has the Vampirella series, the original first prints, put in the comment section, how many issues do you have? And if anybody knows the artist, if that's not Frank Franzetta, um, you can let me know in the comments section. All right, that's why it's not opening. This is taped for a live audience. All right. And we got, this one is a Silver Age book. Not bad protection. One of the things I always tell people, especially if you're buying online from somebody, never assume they know or care how to properly mail a comic. So I make sure that I ask them, I send them a message and say, can you please put it in a bag and board? And I explain why. And, most of the time they do it, but as you can see with that other one, they put it in an envelope, so you can't control everybody. But hey, if this person maybe didn't know, and I never like when they have cardboard that bends like that, because that just defeats the purpose of having protection. But like I said, just imagine what this person might have sent if they didn't put a bag and board, and maybe it was because I asked them to. Maybe that's the only reason why they did it. Nope, drop the knife on my bare foot. That would have made for interesting video. All right, so again with the regular tape, and here we go. They put a little note, says thank you so much for your purchase of this very nice comic. I hope it helps your collection. Well, that's very nice of him. So it is a lower grade. It's probably around the 3.5, 3 to 4 range, basically. But as you hear me say all the time, and you can say it with me, low grade is better than no grade. And here we go. Last book. I'm going to get a new bag and board for this because this is an old bag. I don't know why they wrote all this stuff. Because definitely, I don't think any of these football players are starring in this comic. But hey, you never know. I don't even think they would have been alive at that point, but they would have definitely, if they were, they would have probably been all babies. But I think this book came out before any of them were probably born. So it is what it is. So if they're in this book and it's before they were born, then hey, the Marvel's pretty psychic. So here's the book. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 37. This is the first Norman Osborn. Not a bad book. It does have a piece missing there. That basically says to me that somebody was taking out a bag and board and it looks like the tape got stuck. And instead of taking the time to remove it properly, they probably just tried to yank it and it ripped part of it off. I mean, that's what I'm assuming. But you can see there's some color breaking creases, but not major amounts. Colors still look pretty good. That's not foxing or anything. Hold on. That's just the shadow. Colors look pretty decent. So overall, like I said, between a 3 and a 4 with this book, which isn't bad. I paid with shipping and handling $85.29. So definitely not bad at all for the first appearance of Emmett Smith and Barry Sanders and all the other football players, Marcus Allen. I don't know the other two. If you know them all, if you know what teams these guys are on, obviously, Emmett Smith, you know where he was from the Cowboys. Barry Sanders, if you know what team he's on, you can put it in the live chat. But not bad books. So we got Amazing Spider-Man number 37, first Norman Osborn, Vampirella, Fine, Very Fine, issue number 5. And then the initial reason for this video, luckily not water damaged, potential 9.8 after a pressing of DC Comics Presents number 27, first appearance of He-Man in the comics. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, again, if you want to thumb it up or thumb it down, I'll leave it up to you. If you want to leave a comment, it's always appreciated. Again, if you want to support my channel and the animals that I take care of, your contributions do go to a good cause. You can go to patreon.com/we love comics. Shout out to all the members, the paid members that you see on the screen. You'll get your name up there if you contribute as well. And if we get ever up to 20 people in a given month, for every $2 that you put in, we'll do a raffle. You'll get one entry for every $2 you apply. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So if you want to critique the AI art, by all means, please do. Um, I get maybe 1 or 2 comments a video, so I always respond to them. So if you want to be one of those one people when this video uploads, I would love to read your comments. So until that time, thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Let me know how your 4th of July was. And don't forget, it's not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics, even ones that were almost soaking wet. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Florence, Serge, Nitro. All 3 of you are today's surprise subscriber shout outs. Have a great day, everybody. And don't forget to